Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another podcast here on Fearless Games. I'm Matt the Vet, and today I'm joined by...
James Wildcard.
How's it going?
Not bad, how are you?
Pretty good. Some interesting things happened over the last couple of weeks.
Yes, exactly.
I got some interesting news on my trip to Otakon.
Cool.
It turns out The Right Stuff, it's a, anime DVD, collectible discount store online, convinced Bandai to bring back Gundam in DVD form to the States.
Which is good.
So they got all the rights to every Gundam show, and they just recently released Zeta Gundam, Turna Gundam, and I believe, I could be wrong on this one, Gundam F49.
Yeah,
and Sunrise provide dubs for them, which is the group that dubbed all the other Gundam shows.
I mean...
And it's awesome.
Of course it is. It's Gundams. I mean,
yep.
It never made sense to me, you know, when Bandai did what it did. I'm like, but...
It was their knee-jerk reaction, I believe, to everyone going, well, why should I buy the DVD when I can just download a fan sub for free? And they're like, well, then fine, we stop.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it just never made, especially considering, like, we're not just it's not like, oh, Gundam, that new thing that only has 1 or 2 seasons. We're talking decade-spanning franchise. Yep. You know, it's like, oh, you could probably download a fan sub for the newer stuff, but it's kind of hard to find some of the series. So sell us those series.
Yep. So that seems to be like from my understanding, they felt it was too expensive to keep the DVD end up, so they just said, you know what, we'll just do the model kits and the statues, and that's it, because it's cheap. That's why a lot of Bandai merchandise, even though it's in the U.S., is all in Japanese, because they're just going, it's so simple, it doesn't matter, we don't need to translate it, and so they just ship it over, which is cheaper for them.
Which is true. You don't need it to read it, you just gotta look at the pictures.
Yeah. Yep. And their statues are very self-explanatory, too. You just go, oh, it's a one-piece statue. I assume the pegs on the base go in the holes in his feet.
It's like, Legend of the Hidden Temple. The Silver Monkey's 3 pieces. How can he not put it together?
The Silver Monkey, it always baffled me how they were like they'd put the head on first, and I'm like, how dumb can you be?
It's 3 pieces. One is shaped like the base. One is the head. Clearly the other one goes between the 2.
It was always a mind baffling how they would always be like, how do?
Yes. So, I mean, unless you're one of those contestants, you can put together a Gundam kit.
Yep. And the only thing that I'm hoping for out of this deal, I already contacted them, and I got a little sad news on that front. But I hope they bring G Gundam back.
Oh yeah,
because it's $500 if you want the series right now.
It's the weirdest thing. Looking at the prices for certain series, you're like, but what?
But I could go and then buy, like Zone of the Enders, and it's like $3 for all 50 episodes and the movie.
Yeah, no, it makes zero sense. But I'm looking forward, because one of the things with Gundam, I've seen a decent amount of different Gundam shows. By no means have I seen the majority of them. There's a lot out there.
Yeah.
But, Gundam's one of those things that one of my pipe dreams would be to own this as much Gundam show stuff as I could. But not when it's like $300 here, $200. No. It's not going to happen.
It's ridiculous how much people ask for it. I also can't wait. I'm hoping that they'll bring Gundam X over, because that show is probably by far in the mainstream, like, serious, like, this is really Gundam universe.
In the Universal Century or whatever.
Yeah, that and 0080 are probably is it 0080? I think that's...
Either that or
80 is the one on the... 83 is when it's the space battles. 80 is when they're on the colony.
Okay, yeah. There's like a bajillion. I couldn't track.
I believe it's 0080. That one and Gundam X are my favorite Universal Century ones, because they're just so good.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for Build Fighter. because Build Fighter is awesome. And if you haven't seen it, you should, because it's awesome.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to stuff like that. I would like to own, I mean...
if you want, I don't know if it's still available, but they were selling, like, volumes of Zeta Gundam for $3.20.
That's cool. I mean, I'm hoping that they don't get the shaft, you know. I hope things go well for that, because I would like to see a bunch of... There's so much Gundam. Like,
yeah.
There is so much Gundam. That's all I could say about it. And,
Yep. The one thing that it seems to be right now is they're releasing everything that previously has not gotten a release in the U.S., and then they might switch back to the old stuff that previously was available.
Which is cool, and I'm just hoping that they you know, that happens and everything. And, 'cause I like, I like my giant robots. Gundam is cool. Yep. And I was thinking about...
We will be there buying tickets to the Japanese robot fight.
Oh, of course, obviously.
Gundam.
Because Gundam. But, and I was thinking about Gundam the other day. Now, I was thinking about Gundam Wing the other day because of Zex Marquis' Miliardo Peacecraft. There we go. Because I was thinking about how, you know, of all the Red Comet ripoffs, because every show's got to have one.
Yep, it's like a rule.
It is. Of all of the was it Char Zambel ripoffs, I think Zex Miliardo, whatever you want to call him, was one of the best and definitely one of my favorites, just for the reason of he pushed himself beyond the limits of the Tallgeese, which was thought to be undoable. You know, like, one of the things I liked about the show is when he comes in after one mission and goes, you got to tune up the Tallgeese, it's slow, and it's like, I can't. You've exceeded the capabilities of the suit. And I thought it was just a cool idea to have somebody exceed the capabilities of a suit, and you don't really see that ever.
One of my favorite parts of that is when he goes, it needs to go faster. He's like, dude, you just had a freaking heart attack. It was going too fast. How can you want it to go faster?
Exactly, and that's what I really like. I just really like Zex. He was a really good Char redo. Because some of them you're like, really? You just threw a mask on this guy.
Yep.
You're not even trying anymore.
Some of them didn't even really need a mask.
No, exactly.
That's another thing. Like... That's one thing I would really like to see is a Char equivalent that doesn't wear a mask.
Yeah, I mean, the mask was like a staple thing, which is why I did it, but just like Char, Zex eventually loses the mask. So, I mean, it was really cool. The only thing they didn't do with Miliardo is give him a golden mobile suit.
Yep, or a red one.
Well, he had...
he had Epion, but that wasn't really red. That was like...
It was in the red family. You know, it passed for red. But, like, they didn't give him a Hyakushiki equivalent.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, because See Destiny did that, and it was just like, that's just a Hyakushiki. You didn't even...
Yep.
You didn't even try. You didn't even try. But,
never.
But, you know, Gundam, I'm always happy when I see good things potentially happening for Gundam, because it's Gundam.
Yeah,
what more do you want?
You need giant robots, and one of the reasons why I love giant robot animes is because the animation are like, I always do it to see how the mechs are designed and how detailed the animation is for those mechs' movements.
Oh yeah, I mean, and some of the Gundams, like, that's one of the things I really liked about G Gundam. Because, yeah, the suit is kind of silly that you put on everything, but just to see, like, he crosses his arms, and they show you the Gundam crossing its arms and using little, like, booster packs in its arms to move it around and stuff. It's really cool.
And, like, the little flashing between the two as they're mirroring each other to show that they are one.
Yeah, and then just... What I really like is that you just see the motions, and then you see, like, when he pushes his arm out, and the robot arm kind of extends a bit to lock into a certain mode, and he just, like...
Yep.
It's just the little things. That's also why I like Gundam Wing a lot, especially Wing and Wing Zero, the transformation parts.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, that was really... Because it shows you it up close in detail, and then even when it does it quick, it's not just, it's a plane, then it's a suit. It actually transforms. It's not just, like... one frame to the next frame, and I just appreciate stuff like that. That's why I like Gundam 00 too.
Double O.
The movements, like when you see even the basic mobile suit movements, like the flag when it has that little shield thing to block the shot, so it just moves back and forth to track it.
Yep.
Like, it's just the little things in mecha shows that I really appreciate, because I find not a lot, but a lot. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. There we go. Do like the gear rotations and things moving. I mean, even things like Voltron gave you like when they're interlocking and showing you how they're interlocking and stuff. Only a few of those mech shows didn't really show you too much, and kind of like, a lot of them are like, it's a gigantic machine. Let's show it as a gigantic machine.
Oh, excuse me. Another thing, like if you're really big into mecha anime and all that, you should check out Anoa Zero, because that's probably like as of right now, that's like the mechs anime to watch now. They had a really cool mech in like the first episode. It had a special energy shield that dissolves anything it touches. So it had no weapons. All it did was just walk. And it ripped through everything because bullets and shots would just get disintegrated across the thing. And they're just like, how do we stop this thing?
That's pretty cool.
It's such a good show. And I got to meet the director, the two producers, the voice acting director, and two of the voice actors at the con, because I bought the DVD, and because I refuse. It was done by Emipolex, which they're not a bad company, but their Blu-rays are grossly overpriced. For 7 episodes, they wanted $100.
Yeah, no.
For the collector's edition. I'm like, no, I'll stick with just the DVD, thank you.
Exactly.
But if you bought the DVD or the Blu-ray, you got a ticket to a private signing. And that's where you got to meet them.
See, that's cool.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool. But you know, I find some things with like convention stuff where it's like, dude, I know this is what they did was cool and whatever, but we just want them to sign stuff. It doesn't have to be all this pomp and circumstance, you know, like. And I like when it's, because it's a private signing, but it's not like it's okay. We need to take a blood sample and put you on a wait list.
Yep. What it was is you went to a specific booth, because Emipolex doesn't have their own booths. They have their own like little ad section, and whoever's behind them is their booth, even though they're not them. They just go, here, you're selling our stuff today. You bought the DVD, and they gave you a ticket, and the ticket told you where to go, where to be, and at what time.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, I've seen with certain conventions and stuff, especially in the past when I've been to them, and it's like, it's time for a signing. Everybody stop what you're doing and pretend you're peons. It's time to go online to get the signing. And it's like, really? We're going to be... And then it's like, it's a minute after how long the signing is supposed to be. Everybody who's left, too bad. See you later. It's like, really? Just... You cut off the line to begin with. Just let the line flow through it. It's going to be an extra 10 minutes, and who cares? But, you know, sometimes signings get taken too seriously.
That's why I like how Anime Boston does it, because Anime Boston has, within a 2-hour block, they'll have 2 people signing. So it's usually rigs in the first hour is one person signing, and the next person signs at his signing starts 1 hour after. Then there's like a 2 or 3 hour gap before the next block. And they have a strict rule, you can't, no lining up until 1 hour before the signing. And if you line up before then, you're officially not in line, folks. If someone just comes up the stairs and is here, he's allowed to cut in front of you guys because he followed the rules and came an hour beforehand.
Yeah.
That's actually how me and Elena got to be like second in line for the Godzilla signing.
Yeah.
Was we got there early and they went, you come back in an hour because we don't want you here. Come back in an hour. We came back in an hour, and there was this huge line, and we just walked up like, screw this. These people aren't actually online. So I get up to the front, and the person up there is like, what are you here? It's like, oh, we're here to get in line for the Godzilla sign. They're like, oh, well, well, you see all these people here, like, they lined up, but they're not really lined up, and the person who told us to get out of there before went, no, that guy, bring him up, he gets to come in. And we got to cut in front because of that. The problem that this particular convention has, that Otakon has, is at first I thought they were going to do something really good because they had 2 signings at the same time in 2 different locations.
Yeah.
But they only did that once. For the rest of the con, they had 4 autographs on top of each other, all at the same time, and everyone would crowd around the front. There was 2 signings happening, and half of the line that we were in didn't even want to meet the person that they were in line for because they thought it was for a different signer.
Yeah, that's always a pain.
It's just like, wow, this company's got to really work on their organization because, yeah, it's cool you could do 4 people at once, but A, half the time you do 2 people in the same session, and B, it's so congested no one knows what line they're in for.
Yeah, that's always a pain. But, I think, I haven't been to a convention in a while, but just speaking of conventions and the giant robots and whatnot.
Robots.
Gen Con happened recently, right? From what I understand?
Yes, Gen Con did happen recently.
And what I saw online, because I like Battletech and MechWarrior and all that, one of the guys, I don't know if it's just one of them or if it's a collection of them, dropped a pretty decent hint at Gen Con that I think sometime over the winter or towards the end of 2015, they're the people who were behind Phasa, behind Battletech, behind Crimson Skies and all that, is going to crowdfund some type of Battletech game.
You must be happy for that.
It's interesting because I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's not a video game like MechWarrior is, but it's, I think, a video game in terms of kind of like Battletech, but more like its roots. So maybe kind of like a Mech Commander, only Battletech, and therefore better, because Mech Commander really kind of watered down a lot of stuff. So it should be interesting what they plan to do there. I was kind of hoping maybe they were going to crowdsource something for Battletech the miniature game, but it's going to be it sounds like a video game thing. And he also mentioned that once he gets should the Battletech game get funded, the thing they're going to follow up with, however many a year or so afterwards of the fact, is going to be Crimson Skies.
Okay, and what's Crimson Skies?
Crimson Skies is like a plain. It's hard for me. Crimson Skies is kind of like Battletech in a sense that it's been everywhere. You know what I mean? Like it's been a video game. It's been a RPG. And I'm hoping saying the name right. Crimson Skies is like a plane thing. It's like plane combat.
Okay.
With like airships and biplanes and stuff like that. And that's really all it is. It's basically, from my understanding, you're in a weird looking plane with this blimps. Or zeppelins. You got to shoot them down. You got to protect your plane. You got to shoot other planes down. And it was a miniature game. It was a video game. It was an RPG. And then it just kind of faded away. And but Crimson Skies has a pretty decent following still of people who play what they still have. Yeah. And it's Crimson Skies, and so he wants to try and bring it back.
That's cool. So actually, I found it funny when I was last time I went to the War Store, and even at Otakon, I saw a copy of the Robotech new miniature game. Yeah. And Battletech miniatures, and I just thought of you instantly. I was like, I gotta bring him here.
Yeah, but I mean, I love Battletech, and the Robotech miniature game. What's interesting is through that Kickstarter, I still get the emails and stuff. Yeah. They're like, it's weird. I don't know what they're doing. They're like revamping stuff, and they're to produce more at, I think, a different scale now. It's kind of odd, but it's still out there, which is cool. And I thought it was an interesting game. It's stuff like that I find interesting. It's stuff that, Robotech is what I'm calling it, and Battletech, these things are old. They've been around a while. And just to see them still around and doing things is cool. I mean, Battletech, by far, Battletech was ahead of its time, to be honest with you. because in the 90s it had a cartoon show, a comic book series, a toy line, a miniature game, role-playing game, video games, PC games, and an arcade simulation game. All it was missing, and novels. All it was missing was a movie. It did all of this back when Space Hulk was on the PC and PS1, and Final Liberation was the other 40K game out there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, we're looking at miniature games go on the video games now as like a cool, oh, this is cool, fresh and hip and all that. Battletech's been there, done that, wrote a book about it, literally. I mean, MechWarrior's still here to this day in MechWarrior Online. And it had a simulation game as MechWarrior. It had BattleTech as a game and on the consoles, which is like an isometric view, and then it had a strategy game type of setup with Mech Commander. So I mean, it's been through everything. All the thing was missing was a movie. That's literally all it was missing. And the reason I say it's ahead of its time is because back then there was still a stigma to stuff like this. It wasn't a pop culture acceptable thing at that. Not that it was unacceptable, but it was more of a niche market back then. Where nowadays you got people playing stuff like Dawn of War is a perfect example. How many people play Dawn of War just because they like Dawn of War, forget 40K, right? They like Dawn of War, and then maybe they got into 40K, maybe they didn't. I think if BattleTech was able to, if that peaking didn't happen until around the Dawn of War time period, I think you'd see a whole different side of BattleTech today. But so it's just cool to see these things. Crimson Skies was something. Crimson Skies was an alternate history 1930s, 1940s time period of sky combat with zeppelins and biplanes and stuff like that. So it's just cool to see these old things coming back. Shadowrun kind of did that with the video games on Steam. So it's just cool to see that, and it's also cool to see it because it's sci-fi. I mean, Crimson Skies is alternate reality stuff, so it's not really sci-fi, but you could kind of throw it in there if you wanted to. But it's just cool to see this stuff because it's not traditional sci-fi and it's not traditional fantasy, you know? And with that, you know, it's been a month or so now. The world is not burning. I think Age of Sigmar, you know, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're, you know, I think we're going to be
I've
okay.
I've actually
buddy.
seen people playing it, and everyone's been saying that it's actually, once you get over the new rules, it's not that horrible.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. This was a drastic change, and you have to get once you get the. It's not. I don't want to call it an acquired taste. It's just you have to get used to this new calorie. Yeah. You know, this is a different type of calories you got to get used to here. Once you get acclimated to it, it's gonna not necessarily be business as usual, but you're gonna be right back into the swing of things.
From people that I've heard about who play it, they say that the limiting the wound count does drastically balance the game.
Right.
So, and they're saying, you know, it's actually quite a lot of fun. And actually, I have people on my Facebook page for Age of Sigmar going, do people want to play? Because I really want to play this game. I think the knee-jerk reaction is over.
Yeah, I think the fever has died down, and people are going to be we're going to get through this together, everybody. We're going to be okay. My only thing I was kind of like, is you know, they did the Tree Lord with the round base, and they're repackaging is what they called it for round bases, which is cool. But then I look at some stuff and I go, man, for example, Nagash and his like lieutenant models, like Manfred von Karstein and Neferata and all that.
Yep.
Those models are pretty cool, looking really basically looking pretty hype and everything. And then you look at some of the older like skeletal models, some older models. I'm like, you really should not just repackage these. Maybe a resculpt is in order for these and a repackage. Like I'm just my only concern, not that I have an interest in playing it, but for example, the tree men that they did. Yep. My only concern is that it's like, we gave the Wood Elves or whatever you want to call that group, Sylvan, whatever, for some love, and look, we repackage it with circle bases now. It's like, that's not really redoing them, you know? Like, I'm worried that they're going to go, we totally redid everybody. See, everybody's got a circle base now. Yeah, but these models are 17 years old. It's like, that's my only concern, that might be a way to kind of say, oh, look, everything's all fresh and new now. We don't have to touch that for another couple of years, you know? but I don't play it, so I really don't care. But that's my only thing I could see as being a potential problem.
I have demons, so I should give it a shot, but I just never have the chance to.
Yeah.
And speaking of new games and such, there's a couple of new video games in the 40K universe I'd like to talk about a little bit. The first being the new Battlefleet Gothic Armada one. I don't know if you saw the recent video game footage of it, but it looks so good.
I've seen it, and visually it's great. But for me, it's one of those games where you could show me it all day long. You could show me you playing it all day long. I need a demo to see if I'm going to be good with the interface.
Yeah.
You know? It's one of those games that, for me, it's the interface of how you control things I need to demo it. I need to personally demo it to make a call. But visually, it looks great.
One of the things that I'm liking about it is it seems like it runs very much like a BFG game. From what I've seen in the demos, is each mission is like, you've got 300 points, and then you have a collection of ships worth their points value, and you build a fleet, and then you play the game. And the game had me when they said you can play the Planet Killer. I was like, oh, so it's on. And 2v2 online multiplayer, how can you say no to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess visually it looks great.
Yeah,
and being close to the Space Hulk game is a double-edged sword. Not Space Hulk, Battlefleet Gothic is a double-edged sword because I was going to use the Space Hulk as the example. The Space Hulk video game is kind of even though it's really close to the manager game. You know, it's kind of like, this is cool, but the whole point of a video game is so I'm not playing it in virtual form, you know?
Yeah.
So that, as long as it doesn't go that hardcore, I think it'll do just fine. That's what kind of, for the regular Space Hulk game, not Space Hulk Deathwing, which is a whole different story of awesomeness.
Which I've yet to see anything about that. What is that? Is that an iPad game or is it
a
PC
it's going to be a multi-console and PC.
Okay, good, because my iPad is in the realm of it can't play the games anymore.
It's a first-person shooter game, Space Hulk Deathwing.
Which is, and you're playing Deathwing, so
yeah, you're playing
no
the Terminator Squad that should be in Space Hulk games because that's that's the one thing that people always found funny, even non-Deathwing players or non-Deathwing fans. Whenever they see Space Hulk, they go, "That's cool and all, but aren't the Deathwing nothing but Terminators? Why aren't they the Terminators in this?"
Yeah, it's always weird that they pick like the Blood Angels.
Yeah,
and like even in even like some of the other Space Hulk, like other games involving like space hulking and such, they always seem to be the ones that are not in it.
It's weird. The original Space Hulk thing was Blood Angels, and then there were expansions, one of which was a Deathwing game, but then one of which was a Space Wolf game, one of them was an Ultramarine, so it's just kind of like...
But it's like also with the new Deathwatch game, they're like one of the only chapters of the first foundings that aren't in the new Kill Team game, and you're like, why? You know, why aren't there are Dark Angels in there? Yeah, they don't like to send people to Deathwatch, but they do it.
Yeah, they do it. But
so they don't get yelled at, but
yeah, but no, the Space Hulk Deathwing is a first-person shooter where you're a member of a Deathwing squad, and it's cool because they have a plasma cannon. They have a different type of plasma gun that looks pretty cool. They got the heavy flamer, the assault cannon. They got a librarian in there, the sergeant, Thunderhammer, Storm Shield stuff. So
which is awesome.
It all is very cool. And it looks really slick for it being still in development and everything. And it's a game that I'm looking forward to because I've always liked the concept of Space Hulk itself. In a miniature game, it's a miniature game. I'm okay with that. But if you're gonna give me a video game, don't give me the miniature game. Don't give me, this is a virtual miniature game. Don't give me a virtual miniature game. Give me a video game. Well,
I'm gonna take that one step further, and if it's going to be a virtual version of the board game, indicate that.
Yeah.
Because like when you play like Space Hulk, I was like, oh, this is a video game based on the board game, and then it's like, no, it's the board game. It's like, oh, then they should have just called it Space Hulk Virtual Board Game.
Yeah. The cool.
So
thing
I knew it would be a virtual board game.
The cool thing that the video game did. And the only reason it did this is because it's a video game and it can, is that when you're moving them around, you get a little box that shows you their view of down the hallway, like you're looking through their eyes.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in a miniature game, so it's not even like I'm not even chalking one up for the video game because it's incapable of doing that in a video game, in a board game. So it's just, and to be that, I mean, it's so specific.
Yeah.
Which, on the one hand, kind of cool. I get it. There's a niche market for that. But like you said, they should have called it Space Hulk Virtual Board Game or something.
Yeah, something to indicate that it's just the board game in virtual form.
I mean,
don't get me wrong. I enjoy the virtual game, but like I was a little like I wasn't expecting it to just be the board game.
Yeah, I mean, I bought it because it was a Steam sale for real cheap, but and I knew what it was going in because I was looking it up. I'm like, all right, let me see how it is, and then I'm like, you know, for me, this isn't that fun just playing it through because part of the charm of it being a board game is you're playing with somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, and I know there's like co-op or something for that thing.
Yes,
a Space Hulk,
you could also do. You could also, if you have two like accounts or something, like if you're both on Steam or you're both on iPad, you can link with each other to play the game.
Yeah, but that, I mean, which is cool. I mean, especially if let's say you're states apart or whatever. But part of the charm of Space Hulk is you're there with a social interaction, and and you know the biggest problem with it. And it's not. Luckily, I haven't heard this for the Space Hulk game, but I have heard it on our miniature side of stuff. Is the whole really dumb, really unnecessary kind of meant to be a put down casual gamerness. You know, I haven't seen it with the Space Hulk game because I don't think there's that many hardcore players, quote unquote, for Space Hulk the video game. But that you run into that potential problem is the idea of, you know, you want to have a fun sit down game, and all of a sudden you got somebody calling you a casual gamer like it's an insult.
Yeah.
And that's the one insult for gaming that I always found really dumb. I'm like, what do you call what we're doing right now? Are you being paid to play? No, then you're casually gaming a lot, but you're casually gaming. You know?
That's one of those things that it breaks into that's like a kind of whole can of fish series of like generally with almost anything and it kind of also hurts the market, I feel, a lot with this, how serious people take casual gaming as, like, not being gaming.
Yeah.
Because, like, a good example, I'm just going to throw this out there, we're probably going to get, I don't know how much of a hatred I'm going to generate from this, but the new Metroid game, Federation Force. Everyone's sitting there going, it's not hardcore, it's not for the serious gamer, then get rid of it. And you can see that with stuff like with Age of Sigmar. It's like, there's no tournament rules, it's not balanced for tournament play, get rid of it and make the game I want.
Yeah, and like, you see it mostly with video games and MMOs.
And shooters. First-person shooters are the big one, where it's how dare you not make my shooter a tournament style.
Yeah.
And fighter games. Oh, heaven help you if you try to do like a Smash Brothers game where it's supposed to be casual for fun. No.
Oh, no.
Oh.
What do you mean fun in a video game? But,
yeah.
but, like, casual gamer, right?
Mm-hmm.
What a casual gamer is somebody who doesn't have the ability to devote full-time job status 8 hours a day playing a game, right?
And also a person who doesn't go into a game looking for the next time they're going to compete.
Exactly. You play to have fun.
You play for fun.
Like all games are made to be.
Like a Nintendo system.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest here. If you really think about it, people consider Nintendo the casual system. So a casual gamer is someone who takes gaming like Nintendo does. Yeah. It's for fun.
But I mean, like, and then you look at the games that are like, oh, this is hardcore. You still play those for fun. And it's like, and, you know, I don't get offended when somebody calls me a casual gamer. I look at them like, you're taking this too seriously, but...
You're a casual gamer. Yes.
Yes,
I am.
And the funny thing is there are plenty of casual gamers out there that can school somebody who takes it seriously. Yep. They just don't play it for 10 hours a day every day. Yep. A good example of that is an MMO. Like, World of Warcraft ruined MMOs for people. Because it's so successful, and it's such a weird thing to say, but everything tried to copy it instead of trying to do something on their own, and that's why the MMO market is now a freemium market. Yep. And it was kind of going that way anyway, but But it just accelerated because people like carbon copy it, different skins, let's do this, and it never really did anything. And I just got to say, Ultima Online 17 years strong, and it has another expansion type thing coming out soon, 17 years down the line.
And surprisingly enough, I think it's Ultima Online. I could be wrong, but you've got yourself quite a name for yourself on that game.
Yeah, I do.
Because I remember the clown was talking about how he was on Ultima one day, and somehow your name got dropped, like your in-game name, and everyone's like, wait, you know him? And he's like, I just had lunch with him yesterday. Holy, what's he like? What is like? Apparently you are like a little bit of an internet celeb on Ultima Online.
Yes and no. In the role-playing community, which is now dead on the server I play, yes. Yeah. And when they come back, they know me. But they're gone right now. But yeah, no, because it's a role-playing community. Call me crazy, but there was a time when it was called a massive multiplayer online role-playing game.
Yes. Yes, it was.
So we do that because it's kind of like... the thing I like about Ultima Online that no game has been able to replicate in a style that I enjoy like this, or really do it and try to do it well, is it's not level based, but it's also not class based. You want to be a blacksmith, cook, fishing, fencer, go for it. You want to be a necromancer, tailor, paladin, you can do it. You know what I mean?
Suit would look lovely if your suit could talk.
Exactly. Like, you can go ahead and do that. You can even be a gardener, which isn't even a skill. You just got to know what seeds to plant and what potion to put on it to help it out. So you could be a gardening, cook, which is a skill, fishing, tinkerer, pickpocket. Because you have a 7. It's done by percentile. So
okay.
You go from 0 to 100, or to 120. You know, if you have a power scroll to go above perfect, basically.
Yeah.
And you have 700 skill points. You can raise 7 skills to Grandmaster.
Yeah.
Certain skills play well with each other, like melee skill, tactics, anatomy, and healing, because that's what makes you a good warrior, and parry. But there's nothing saying you have to do that. There's no class system. You pick the skills you want to raise, and this may shock people, you use those skills to raise them. You know, one of the things that turned me off to things like WoW was EverQuest, where I was a wizard and I had there were giant bees I beat to death with a staff to make myself a better magic user. I'm like, but I didn't use any magic yet. Why am I suddenly better at casting spells? Because
while you were beating them to death with your staff, you're like, if I just use the word Maximaya, my lightning damage would go far better.
Right. So, and the thing about Ultima Online is, because of that, it's the role-playing community there that goes there to role-play and enjoy this, just have fun with it. You have crazy concepts. There's somebody in there, all she does is role-play a crafter. She does it very well, and she makes a lot of gold in game off of the non-role players because she's a really good crafter. So you have this crafter who can roleplay, have fun. She runs like the United Blacksmiths of whatever, right? So it's a guild of craftsmen, and they have mining knights and stuff, and then they'll have the Paladin Guild will defend them because they'll use gargoyle pickaxes, and what happens there is you have a % chance to spawn an elemental based on the ore, because there's different grades of ore. So let's just use gold. You can mine gold, and with the gargoyle pickaxe, you have a chance of making a gold elemental, which is a really tough elemental to fight. And the more rare the metal, the tougher the elemental. So if they're going to do a gargoyle pickaxe night, they'll team up with the role-playing warrior guild or whatever, or a couple of them, and they'll do that, and whenever those spawn, the warriors will rush in to save the day. And it turns what sounds like a really boring, mundane thing of mining into a really cool role-playing night out. So, I mean, there's fishing as a skill. You could have 0 fighting skills, but make an awesome role-playing character and actually make a lot of money out of it, or gold, in-game gold out of it. So that's why it's fun. And the role-playing community, because we're pretty close-knit and stuff, we know, and my character is pretty outspoken as being the guy who never asked anybody for anything, but always expected you to do him a favor, and people would because he never asked them for anything whenever he was asked to do stuff.
Okay.
One of those guys. So it was just fun, and there you even have casual gaming, because I'll tell you what, the limitations of the Ultima Online system mean some of these endgame bosses that are out there, I've done them with groups of 40 people, and it took forever, and we all died multiple times. It's really tough. You think raiding in WoW is tough? You should try an Ultima Online raid.
Yeah.
It's really tough. But WoW's a really good example. I was listening to something about, like, the casual gamers want this, and they're catering to the casual gamer. I'm thinking, that's because that's who the cash cow is. Of course you're going to do that, and it's not like you have to do that. You can still have fun without. Casual gaming is such a weird term.
It's come to the point where, like, not trying to bash on anybody or anything. It's just, like, from what I've seen, in forums and watching, but even in 40K and, like, War Machine and all those other games, it's starting to turn into the casual player is the cash cow, the person who will just, oh, hey, we brought this new Demon of Maguna, this new Chaos dude we're bringing in, who can kill all the other Chaos gods. Oh, this seems cool. I'm going to pick him up and see how he plays just for fun. The hardcore gamer is the dude who's like, what? He's so broken! You gotta change him now! You gotta alter his rules! That way he's perfectly balanced! That way when I fight with anyone, it's a 50-50 chance! Do it now! Make the thing I want, not what you want!
Yeah, and it's weird, too, because I find the more jaded a player gets, and this is, I know I might be calling people out without knowing this, but I find some people get pretty jaded. They're the one going, it's just for casual players anyway. But I'm thinking, no matter how dedicated you are, you can be a fanatic for Warhammer Hordes, Infinity, Dystopian Wars, whatever it is. Your life isn't on the line. You're not going to be it's casual, no matter how you slice it. And you look at it, and then they go, this game is just so lame. We should go back 7 editions ago when it was a good game. Like, okay, I can see wishing you were back, wishing the edition that just passed was still around. But when you go back more than 1 edition to complain about stuff, you got to stop. You can't say 4 editions ago this was a good game.
And the other thing is like one thing I feel that everyone's like, this is a problem both in the video game world and the gaming and the tabletop gaming world is too many people are like. Back in the day, like when a board game was made, because I'm just going to use that as an example, like we decide to make a board game. Hey, we want to build this board game. It's going to do this, that, and this is the board game we play. And this is the board game we want to sell to people to see if they want to play. They want to play it? Awesome. They do. Bam. Now it seems it's like, now a lot of people feel like it's the reverse, that these people are like down in their own basement, chained to computers and books and desks, and they go, you shall now build me a game. Make it where it is balanced for tournament play, but still usable in casual play. You must have this deity be like this, and this character must be like that, and you must follow every rule that I am telling you right now, or else.
Yeah.
You will not see the sun, and no bread and water for you.
Right.
Everyone seems to be treating now, especially the video game world, in the gaming world in general, is sort of turning into like a sport, in a sense.
It's the most...
As how serious people are getting into it.
It's the most... I'm sorry. Like what you said, you have like the MOBA games out there, and stuff that are like, we're esports. I'm like, I am not a sport guy.
Yeah.
But don't call it an e-sport. I'm sorry. When you sit in front of a keyboard and you can mash the left mouse button and the hotkeys a million times a minute, that does not turn into a sport. I'm all for it being a tournament.
Yeah, tournaments are fun.
But don't call it a sport, because sport commercializes things and ruins everything. And also, when you look at gaming, and this is why I like miniature gaming, you can't... Now, this is a theory here, but when you produce something, you produce it. Like Age of Sigmar is a really good example of they can't patch it. They have to drop it like this. This isn't a game where they can release it broken and then patch it to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to release the book. Once edition goes from edition 2 to edition 3 to edition 4, it's kind of like a patch, but it's not like a video game world patch. This
Yeah.
has whatever change you make. Like if Dystopian Wars tomorrow decided to drop an edition that dramatically changed how you build your list composition and everything, people are going to rant and rave.
Yep.
And that's understandable. I'm not saying it's not understandable because it's such a cut and dry black and white change.
Yep.
And that's how it is in miniature gaming. So when they do a change, typically, despite what people may think or otherwise, there's a lot of thought that goes into it. Unlike a video game where you can patch to make, you can
fix it later.
Yeah, fix it later. And that's, I think it's that mentality of why can't they just fix it that people maybe forget a little bit. Hey, this is an actual thing. It's not a digital thing that can be patched. But also, tournament play is one thing. I enjoy tournament play just as much as the next person. But this isn't League of Legends. This isn't StarCraft. I'm not saying they get a pass either. But and this isn't Magic the Gathering where there's actual serious stuff on the line to really get all worked up about it. There's a lot of money on the line for League of Legends, for StarCraft, and for Magic the Gathering, and some other stuff, I'm sure.
Yep. That's one of the reasons why I try to stay away from those, because I'm like, once money starts getting involved, then the game stops being fun, because then everyone's playing as if they're winning something in the end.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is, as somebody who's been in the tournament scene for Magic the Gathering for, not ever, but I've been in it, in the thick of it, for a decent amount of time when I was playing in my heydays, in my heights, my multiple heights. The funniest thing is, when you get into that, and you're playing against people who are trying to make it to regionals and whatnot, it's really a fun time, as weird as that sounds. And like, Magic the Gathering is the ultimate pay-to-win game.
Yeah.
You have to know what to do, but once you know the metagame, you can buy the cards by piecemeal and pay to win if you wanted to. It's not a guarantee, but that is a good example of it. And there's casual gaming and casual gamers who aren't going to make it to regionals. I wouldn't. But they still have fun playing it, They still are having fun with it because they understand this is a big investment to do it like this.
Yep.
And that's the funny thing. You get to certain games where people understand it, but then you have games like the miniature gaming and some video games out there where it's like, I can't believe they designed it like this. What are they doing? And it's like, you're not, who are you, a rock star? Relax.
One of the benefits, though, I feel with miniature gaming over video gaming, and when it comes to that, is I feel as of right now it's still much easier to be casual in a miniature game.
Oh, it is,
because like Brothers Grimm, the place by us, there are a couple of tournament play. It's like split down the middle, 50-50. Yeah, you can easily find who's the serious one, who's the casual one, and then you've got yourself a game system that plays to your liking. Like there's one dude there who's a tournament player. All he does, and he openly admits, is every game I play is to test my list for my next tournament. And I'll play against him just for him to test his list, because I'm like, this guy is casual enough where I know where he stands in this. So it's no problem. It's okay. He's kicking my rear end. He's testing to see if he needs to change anything in his army list. There's a groups that I play with who, if this is a casual, like, it was a great example was we were playing a game, me and a friend were playing a game once. And I said, I'm going to drop this here. And he goes, why don't you drop it there? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And he's like, yeah, no, if we were playing like a league or something, I'd be like, interesting. And that would be your only clue. But, since we're playing casual, I'm gonna point out the problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I find in miniature gaming is you can do, it's not that you can do that easier. I mean, for example, a card game, you could do a similar thing, like, you don't firebolt this thing, firebolt this would be better for you. But unlike collectible card gaming, which you have to buy a new thing every couple of months, in theory, you could be dusting off a 10-year-old Space Marine list, or to a certain extent, when Warhammer hordes are really old, if you had enough models for the appropriate size, thingamabobber. Because I don't know what to call stuff there. So it's a thingamabobber. And
thingamabob. thingamajig.
Yeah, and with Infinity, as long as you're up with the additions, right, you don't have to buy the latest and greatest looking model.
Yeah, no.
So
yeah,
you don't have to. You can be casual and still have something that can play, and you don't have, unlike like with Magic the Gathering, for example. When I was tournamenting, I had a tournament deck, and I play it every so often against people just to test it out against some weird decks out there. But I always made sure to bring a couple of just fun decks, because I know it's not fun to play against a deck that's meant to win as fast as possible. Yeah, you don't really need to worry about that with miniature gaming too much.
Yeah, and like I said, it's much easier, I find, to get your casual gaming in, where unlike, like, with, like, good example is StarCraft, unless you're playing a friend, or you're playing the computer, every game is going to be treated like a tournament by your opponent, and there's no way to filter that.
No, there isn't, and, you know, to a certain, and the thing with video gaming, whether it's console or PC, it's that whole action esport thing mentality, no matter what you're playing. And also, like, I was watching speedrunning the other day, because some of the stuff is really funny to see what they can do. Like 0-star Mario 64 run, where you win without any stars.
Without any stars.
You know, because you can glitch through things. And that's cool. But then you hear, and there's some, and I've noticed, I watched a couple of different type of speedruns. There are speedrunners who understand that this is not the way you're meant to play the game, but it's fun. And other speedrunners who go, why can't programmers program things so we can just whatever? And it's like, because you're not playing the way it's meant to be played. It's like
you're that's when you get into the whole you're demanding the game you want instead of accepting the game they wanted to make.
It's like a good example is Mario 64. If you're demanding a way that you could speedrun this better, then you should stop playing, because period.
Yeah.
Because speedrunning is great, but understand you're not going the intended path. Right.
It's like also like with Smash, everyone's going, why didn't he cater to the tournament players? And he's outright said he doesn't want to make a tournament style game. He wants to make a game a family or group of friends can have fun enjoying. You know, but everyone's like, no, he's got to make it where it's tournament based. I'm like, this isn't a sport. He doesn't have to create anything that he doesn't want to. He's a video game. The purpose of the video games is to make the game you want for the people who are interested. If you're not interested in his game, don't play it. But I want it. Then you have to deal with whatever he gives you.
Isn't that the weirdest thing? You notice some more video games.
Video games. It's big.
On the wargaming side, you don't really see too much, because there are outlets. Like, if you don't like the way something looks, and you're not playing in a super serious sanctioned place where it's got to be that model or whatever, you have outlets to change it. So that's the cool thing, but like, you still notice it on both. It's kind of like, it should be like this. Well, don't play it, but I want it. Then why are you complaining?
Yeah.
If you want it, just get it and don't worry about it.
It's like there's some people. It's like, and it's just crazy how some people like mentality, again going with Smash, no items. Why? Because it's not fun. Oh, because you mean I could possibly win if we play with items? Because it's like, dude, I understand you feel that items are the epitome of evil and all that, but you do realize every time we play with no items, it's 50 wins to 0. When there are items, it's like 25 to 25. So it's not because the items are unbalanced, it's because you don't like the fact that I can win. And I give you a challenge of some sort.
It's the case of, making it, everything has to have a tournament. And don't get me wrong. The thing about tournaments for certain things, like miniature wargaming, for example, it's a social experience. You have to play against somebody else, or else you're just twiddling your thumbs.
And doing nothing.
So a tournament setting is a great, no matter what you play. It could be Warhammer Hordes, Dystopian, whatever, because I know they have different versions of it. Infinity. You have to go out to meet other players somewhere. Yeah, you're paying money, usually, for an entry fee or whatever. But it's guaranteed, let's just say it's a 3-game tournament. It's a guaranteed 3-game setup against 3 different opponents on 3 different terrain boards usually. And there's a good chance you've never played against them before, because you don't come out to casual gaming that much, or you don't go out to casual gaming that much.
It's quite possible that you'll discover that they are in an area near a game store by you, so you can meet with them later.
Exactly. So the tournament set up for that, and even Magic the Gathering is the idea you have to go out and play against somebody. You have to actually have a social interaction. We can scare the pants off of some nerds, I know.
Yeah.
But you have to do that with these games.
Yep.
The thing with, like, tournaments online, there's no need to do that. So you have that anonymous, spiteful, you're a casual gamer, or you can't do this thing. Or when you go out to, like, this is one of the reasons why I wish arcades were still around and big, because they used to host arcade tournaments.
Yep.
Even though you're playing, like, there's really no social interaction. If let's say we're doing Street Fighter, which I am one of the worst out there. And the only way I'll do a tournament is if it's a tournament of who's the worst player. But
which guy stinks the most?
But even there, chances are, you're not even doing an arcade box, thing. It's your own little joysticks at your own little tables watching a big TV.
Mm-hmm.
You're not interacting. You're playing frantically to win. And you don't have the social thing. And that's one of the reasons why, for me, video game tournaments, it's cool to see. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't have them. I love seeing the skill of somebody able to, like, do something without getting hit or do whatever. It's really cool to see. But the point of this is a tournament thing is a social interaction at its core, no matter what tournament it is. Even drag racing. You look at racing. There's no interaction between the competitors while they're racing. It's all off. Yeah. It's all off the track, but it's still a thing. It gets heated, but then you get hot on the collar. You get some words, maybe some fists exchange, but then everybody relaxes. You don't have to like the guy, but you get respect and stuff like that. It's a social thing, and that I think is my theory for certain esports. It's like we got to remove this social casualness. Yeah, just game, and it's like. And then, like, they act like they're rock stars, too. Like, because I have 70 million followers on such and such who watch me game. Good for you. I don't care.
For us, that's one of those things. We would love to have 70 million followers, but you're not us. So why should we, cool?
Yeah, but also, would it be cool to have that? Okay, great, but that doesn't legitimize you as a celebrity of gaming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's the idea of, like, that's cool, dude. You're good at this. We're going to game because I want to have a social experience. Play against me. I don't,
Yeah.
And that's why I haven't done a tournament in a while with miniature wargaming. But the tournaments I've done a few. Even though those there kind of power game it a bit.
Yeah.
They're having fun. You can see they're having fun with it. They don't mind. It's like, oh, that wasn't a challenge. But they don't say that. The ones that do, people don't play against. Yep. And a lot of them, it's a kind of a reward system. Oh, he was a fun player. I don't mind playing against him. And then you play against him, you have fun, and, they play against a kid, and you have to be a good winner and a good loser.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. That's the beauty of the social interaction of a tournament for things like miniature gaming and collectible card gaming, and even board gaming where they might have board game tournaments. I've seen those once in a blue moon.
Yeah, I never understood how that worked.
Me either. I'm the best Monopoly player ever.
I'm like, good for you.
The one thing with board games, you're right. I never understood it. Or like, what is it, Settlers of Catan or whatever?
Yep.
I actually saw one time like the most serious Catan game I've ever seen, to the point where I was uncomfortable because I'm like, this shouldn't be this serious.
And one last thing before we have to wrap it up for today. You heard of the new Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr game?
I heard like tidbit. I didn't really hear much about it because I was too busy watching the Deadpool trailer over and over.
Deadpool trailer.
Such a not safe for work trailer. Don't watch it at work.
Yeah, no, you do not see that. You don't do that at work.
No.
But it's a new video game. It's very Diablo style, where you play as an Inquisitor, and there's a couple of cool things in the gameplay trailer, in the gameplay video that I saw that I thought was really cool. The first is you can destroy cover that people are standing behind. So if people's, like, standing, like, behind a barricade and they're firing over it, you can just, like, keep shooting at the barricade until it's gone, and then you can shoot the dude because you just destroyed their barricade.
That's cool.
At one point in the game trailer, he runs into a giant beast of Nurgle. And the beast of Nurgle is just walking over to him going, "When I get close to you, I'm going to slash you with my claws." And the Inquisitor, you're actually able to aim at points on the character.
Yeah.
And he aimed specifically at his arms.
Okay.
And he blew the dude's arms off. And then he just ran up to him and started slashing him, and the demon's like, "Dang you, if only I had arms."
If only I had my arms, it would be a completely different thing.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. And this was all pre-alpha footage. So unless they do a Colonial Marines where they decide to take all the money and make a totally different game and then port this to a different company just to finish it, this looks like it could be an interesting game system. And as cool as the Diablo system is, I'm not a fan of that kind of gameplay. But this I'm interested in.
It does look interesting. I have to say, speaking of Diablo, there's a patch coming probably this Tuesday, the 11th, I believe, that is introducing a new zone for getting basically something like the Herodra Cube. What they did, it was a guy whose last name was Kanai, and it was an actual guy who worked at Blizzard who passed away. And in memory of him, they produced Kanai's Cube. And they gave a whole little backstory for this guy. He was a big part of developing Diablo and other games. So, like, in memory of him type thing in the patch. So that's what they do with it.
That's cool.
And it's cool. It's a fun add-on to the game. And it's just a patch. It's not like an expansion you have to pay for or anything, which is cool. But, I've seen some stuff of this Inquisitor. It does look pretty cool. I mean, it does. But every time I see it, it makes me kind of go, I wish there was a way to get like a Diablo 1 back. You know, like, I really like Diablo 3. I enjoy playing it. But I was thinking the other day, a upscaled or HD just Diablo 1 port, nothing changed to it, just made nowadays. I would really like that because Diablo 1 was a lot of fun and it didn't have what this Inquisitor Martyr game has. But it's cool to see this be a thing. My only concern is it going to get the Space Marine kind of, not being a Space Marine, the game Space Marine, is it going to get that type of reaction from people that kind of go, this isn't how the universe is blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, it's a video game. You got to make some concessions for stuff.
Yeah.
So, that's my
which
only
is one thing.
concern.
Which is one thing. Sorry?
What?
Hold on, we're having a little technical difficulty. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's you were talking about? Everyone saying this isn't how this isn't how Space Marine's supposed to be.
Yeah, like, you know, I enjoyed the Space Marine video game.
It's a great game.
It's a fun game. I'm not going to say it's an accurate interpretation of no, but it's fun, you know, and I enjoyed it, and it did a good job of what it had. And I'm just concerned that this Inquisitor game is going to be like, this is not how a demon, blah, 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 would be. His arms will clearly grow back, and he can't do but you know what I mean? Like that's my only concern. Like, they're going to be throwing blood letters at you everywhere.
Yeah, it's a shame, like, because, like, the game with the fluff is a situation where, unless it's the role-playing game...
You can't have the fluff in
or a novel... you're never going to perfectly represent the game.
Oh, you're completely right. I mean, when you look at the fluff of the novels, there's no way you have that and it's not just for, like... it's not just 40K. I've seen some stuff for other games that have, like, a fluff type of setup, like, read the lore of things. Like Warhammer Hordes. I've read the lore of certain things. The Death Jack is nowhere near represented properly in the game.
Yeah, no, the Death Jack is... is kind of all sorts of nasty.
It is, but on the game, it's very tame.
Yep.
When you look at its lore, you're like, how is anything surviving this? But, so, it's not just, like, 40, obviously this is a 40K game, so we're bringing that up, but, like, I've noticed that outside of the GW stuff, you can't.
Yeah.
A role-playing game is where you get the lore and the fluff to represent it properly because it's, oh damn, we're facing this thing.
Like, a good example is one game that I just ran recently. We had a heavy bolter, a Devastator Marine with a heavy bolter full of Kraken rounds, and in the game, and they ran into a Tombstalker. Now, if this were the tabletop, you'd be like, oh crap, a Tombstalker. He's like, oh, a Tombstalker. Dun 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 dun. And it was Kraken rounds, so it was like, oh, that's cute. You only have your toughness to save you.
Yeah, but like
goodbye.
that's the fluff, and like novels obviously have the fluff because there's no win.
There's no limitation.
It's a novel. It's basically like you write it up. That is the fluff, stuff like that. And role-playing games, there's no worry about being OP in a party full of OP people. You know what I mean? But in gaming, you have to worry about that. So that's in like with the Space Marine game, there were people going, complaining about, oh, the Chaos Space Marines weren't really tough enough, or that, you shouldn't throw this at you, he's too strong of these flight drone things, and yada yada.
Yeah.
And I'm only, the only concern I could see with this Inquisitor game, and them going, a Nurgle beast, he should be dead, and, well, in fluff, there's a whole different story, yes.
Yeah.
But obviously, if they're throwing 13 Bloodthirsters at you because it's the end game and that's all they have left to throw at you, that's a little lame. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's my only concern. And it's not just 40K. It's any game that we have pre-established rooted lore. So that includes Warhammer Hordes and stuff. If you got a game where it's just kind of like, and 13 Deathjacks at the last level. Well, that's not how. Obviously, the lore is not going to let that happen. You only need half of one, and I'm dead. But
I always loved the Deathjack because, I loved how all it is it's a book. Guy picks up book, and he starts being magically compelled to start building what he's reading in the book. And then once he builds it, it eats him. I love that.
It's cool, and the Iron Kingdoms did one of the coolest things to liches in a while with the Iron Lich.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of liches, so I like that stuff, but that stuff isn't going to be properly represented. That would be like having a D&D board game or a D&D video game where you have to play against a demi-lich.
Yeah.
Because if you're a D&D player, especially 3.5, you hear demi-lich, you go, I quit the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in a video game, a demi-lich is something that you will be able to overcome. It's also like fighting a beholder. If you ever actually fought a beholder in D&D, it's really tough. Yeah, but
I think the best was this one time. Elena's brother was playing Dark Souls, I think, or Demon Souls, or one of those soul games. And she's watching him play, and I'm sitting at home, and all of a sudden I get a text message from her, and she goes, "What's a mind flare?" And I'm like, "Run!" That's what a mind flare is you run.
And also with D&D, it's Dungeons and Dragons. So dragons are so played out in D&D, but if you actually sit down and have a dragon with a proper encounter level and whatnot, it's a scary, scary beast.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just claws and fire. It's more than just claws and breath. I mean, but representing that in games is a completely different story. So it doesn't. You can look at any established thing: Deathjacks, Beholders, Demi-Liches, Nurgle, Greater Demons, whatever it is, and you go and you look at it in a video game form, and you go, that's nothing. And then, or in a miniature game form, that's not so bad. But the lore makes out to be the scariest thing ever. That's the way the lore is. That's part of why, for me, with fantasy games, I've not really been able to get into one recently. And I think part of that is I'm so used to fantasy being an epic tale of heroes in a party and not an army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighties. So we have ran out of time.
Yes.
So we will end it here. Thank you all for listening, and tune in next time when we will be podcasting for you all. And until then, Fearless Gamers, this is Matt the Vet.
James the Wildcard.
Saying take care.
And run!
Run! Or bring salt. Either way.
Yeah.
He'll appreciate it, because he likes salt with his brains.